Hi, my name is Cecilia Bentley, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own choose your own adventure Google form from scratch. So first thing, you're going to start out in Google Drive and you're going to create new, and then you're going to go to Google Form. Once this pops open, you're going to give your form a title. The one I'm going to do today is going to be all about first aid. So that's what I'm going to call mine. Here's where we're going to figure out the settings for your Choose Your Own Adventure. First, let's look at settings. For this, I'm going to not restrict it to my organization, and I'm going to say that they can edit after they submit. Presentation, you don't want to shuffle question order, so make sure you don't have that selected. And we're going to go to quizzes. We're going to make this a quiz. Students can see their grade immediately after submission, and I do not want them to see correct answers. So save. After settings, let's take a look at our theme settings. So let's customize our theme. Most people usually just leave it purple. I like to customize all of my forms. That way the students can see it differently. So I'm doing first aid, so I'm just going to go with this one here. And I'm going to select it, and now I can change the background color. So I can choose the theme color. I'm going to go with this medium blue here, and then change the background color to a even darker blue. Here we go. So, and then you can change the font style to formal, playful, decorative. I'm going to stick with basic. So now we're done with theme options, and I'm going to start with my questions. First question you should always have is the student name. I always like to include an ID number question. A lot of learning management systems will let you upload grades based on student ID numbers. So let's go ahead and do that one. And it already pops up with response validation. That means the students have to type in a number. If they don't give a number, then it will not let them go on. I'm going to make the ID number required. That way they cannot skip this question. So now I'm going to give them a question to start out with. This needs to be a multiple choice question, and it needs to be kind of a nice filter question. Since mine is first aid themed, my question is going to be, which of these is not something you should do when you have a suspected sprain? Okay, so then I'm going to say rest, ice, compress, elevate, and then I'm going to add breathe as an answer choice. So hopefully the students already know the acronym for what you do when you have a suspected sprain is RICE. And so this is kind of a nice little filter out question to see where my students already are. So this is required. And I'm going to click these three little dots and click go to section based on answer. Now, right now we only have one section, so we've got to add another section. And we're actually going to add two sections. So now we've got three sections. This first section I'm going to title Topic 1, Review. The next one I'm going to title Topic 2. Okay, so we've got the three sections. We're going back to this multiple choice question. So, which of these is something you should not do? The one that is should not do is breathe, which needs an extra E at the end. Breathe. So if they get it correctly, they're going to go on to topic 2. If they get the question incorrectly, they are going to go to topic 1 review. So I'm going to put all of these go to section 2. Okay. So this is our first filter question. If they get it right, they skip a section and go to topic 2. They get it wrong, they go to the next section, which is a review section. Now you can put whatever you want in your review section. I'm going to just add a YouTube video about rice for sprains. Here is a very short video about rest, ice, compress, and elevate. Now, ordinarily, you would want to watch the video, make sure they are appropriate. Since I'm just doing this as a demo, I'm just going to go with the first video. And so this is going to be sprain information. And then you're going to want to ask another question. This one, it's better if it's not multiple choice. What I recommend doing is doing a short answer and then clicking these 3 little dots and setting up a response validation. This means they have to type it correctly or it will not let them move on because it's going to be required. So we're going to change this to text. We're going to change the text contains, and now we've got to write our question. So I'm going to say, what does the C in rice stand for? Okay, so now the answer for this is compress. So I'm going to type the word compress. It used to matter if it was capitalized or not. I don't believe it matters anymore, but just in case in the description, I'm going to give them the notice that please type your answer in all caps. Then here for your error text, you're going to type in whatever you want the student to see if they get it wrong. So something like, sorry, that's not correct. Once they get it correctly, they're going to go on to the next section, which is topic 2. So here's where you're going to ask another question. So this pattern will continue. If they get it right, they skip a section and go to the next topic. If they get it wrong, they go to a little bubble section that is a review section. Once they finish the review section, they should then move forward to the next topic. This way they're getting review from the question that they just missed. So the main topic question should be multiple choice to filter them. You could also do a response validation if you want to have more than one question in a topic. But other than that, filter. Let it filter based on what they know about each topic. These types of forms are very helpful whenever you have a step-by-step process where students can get tripped up on one part of the step. So I recommend using these and breaking it down into each step. For example, I use this with chemistry, and we'll go with drawing Lewis dot structures, and I'll start with the very first question of, is this compound ionic or covalent? And then it's how many valence electrons. And so we go step by step by step. That way, if they're getting stuck at the very beginning, I can catch them and send them to a review section right away. And they don't have to flounder the entire time. They get that built-in help with whatever section they're struggling with. When you're done, all you have to do is hit send and either paste the link in Google Classroom, email it to your students, however you get the form to your students normally. And other than that, they just go through it. They'll see their score at the end. Their score really won't matter because if they make it all the way through, they've gone through all of the questions and they've had to answer them successfully to get all the way through the form. Because remember, if they miss one of the multiple choice questions, they get filtered to a review section. And once they answer the question there correctly, they move forward. So there's not really a way to fail this. Everyone gets through it and you have the built-in remediation where it's needed. I hope this video was helpful.